Hey, welcome back to another episode of Visionary Voices. As promised, another eminent personality from the field of education. This time we are discussing about management. Those kids who are looking for a management course, those who are management aspirant right now, when you're in 12th, you're looking for a BBA program. I have a wonderful expert for you. Even if you're looking for an MBA program, you need to know some questions with respect to some specializations. I have again a wonderful guest with me. Dr. Nihar Amoncar, welcome, sir.
Pleasure.
He is a PhD from University of South Wales with full scholarship. Sir is an MBA from South Wales School of Business and Director of MBA at University of Derby, UK. Head of Executive MBA at IIT Ghaziabad. And currently, he is Pro VC and Head School of Management and at IILM University, Greater Noida. So, welcome to this interaction. Believe me, this is a wonderful opportunity to interact with these kids through this platform. As I have been interacting with them in a physical format, but then you cannot reach to everyone.
Yes.
And this is one medium which helps us to take you and get their queries resolved through people like you. So today we'll be talking to you especially for those students who are looking for a BBA course and those who are in 12th right now and their board exams are going on. They'll be heading towards their colleges in the month of July, August. So, sir, my first and the foremost question is, which a lot of people ask me when I counsel them, is what is the difference between BBA and MBA?
Yeah.
When I'm doing a BBA, how then MBA would help me, or is it not required then?
Okay. I think one of the things that we need to realize is that BBA education focuses on foundations of business because you're fresh out of your 12th standard, wherein you have learned a range of subjects. Depending on what specialization you have taken, you have studied science, mathematics, you've studied language, you've studied chemistry, physics, all of that. Now, transitioning from that education to business education, particularly for those people who have probably not taken commerce specialization, might be quite tough. Now, one thing we need to first of all note down is that a BBA is not a mini MBA or it is not an MBA light. So, BBA is a full-fledged program by itself. What it does prepare you for is, can I get a conceptualization of how does the world of business work? So before we talk about management, we understand or we need to understand what is business and how is business different from management. So when I say business, that means we need to understand how do we handle accounts? How do we finance the activities that the business is going to do? How is it that we can take the product to the market? Before taking it to the market, how do we design the product? How do I know what the product is, who the product is for and whether it is going to work? Who are my competitors? What should I price it at? So these are the various aspects of business. Whether I'm taking a product out to the market or whether I'm taking a service out to the market. These are my fundamentals. I cannot run a business without knowing accounts. I cannot run a business without understanding finance, how to fund the business. I cannot run a business without understanding how to go to market. And I cannot understand how to do a business if I don't know how to run the operations, the distribution, which channels am I going to use to sell it, how am I going to handle the people, right? So all this is a part of business education, which is what BBA focuses on. It takes you right from, as we say, ABC. So before you start using your words, you need to start understanding your alphabet. So BBA is about understanding the alphabets in detail, right? It also gives you the space, because it's a 4-year program, it gives you the space and time to really go in depth of these fundamentals, right? Whereas an MBA is now about strategic thinking, leadership. It's about managing high performing teams. It's about growth, expansion, internationalization, right? So here, when you think about an MBA program, the education focuses more on higher order learning skills. So you need to think critically. You need to be able to take decisions quickly, and those decisions need to be backed by good data and good analysis. You need to solve problems. Problems हम सबको रोज आती हैं. You need to solve them. You need to manage yourself. You need to manage yourself before you manage other people, right? And what will be expected of you is that you lead teams, that you create teams, that you grow the business, you outcompete the market, you launch products which are ahead of the curve, you come up with innovation, you come up with creative ways of doing business. So आपका जो expectation होता है at an MBA level is much more different. So what the BBA does is BBA strengthens your fundamentals, which are then blooming when you go and pursue an MBA.
So, you mean to say that BBA also prepares them for the business world?
Absolutely. See, one thing I would like to talk to you about is BBA is a degree which is very much India specific, right? I have taught in France, I have taught in US, I have taught in UK. There was no BBA, right? This is a very Indian way of doing things. Wahan pe most of the people who used to come, they used to do a BSc. Okay, they used to do a BSc economics, or they used to do a BA in business management, or they used to do a BSc accounting finance, and then they used to come into MBA. So their context was quite different, right? And then you go and end up doing a marketing role or accounting role depending on what your major is, etc. Now BBA is something that is very interesting for me, is because see, India, the number of organizations that take birth here, and I'm not talking about the startups, I'm talking about the sheer size of the market, the sheer volume of the jobs that are generated here. We needed a specific set of students who would be good at doing business. Tomorrow you can plug them into any organization, no matter what sector they work in, and they will know whatever I said they know, right? Marketing, operations, HR, finance, right? Ye unko aayega. So the BBA became a vehicle for us to make sure that even if you, let's say, don't immediately pursue an MBA program, you can still get a good job and you can still hone your skills without pursuing a postgraduate degree. See, because in the abroad, MBA degree is usually pursued by people with at least 10 years of experience, right? Otherwise, you are not eligible for it. Here, people do it right after the degree. Now, if you are going to do that, then what BBA does is it seamlessly transitions you into where that MBA comes in then, right? Because your fundamentals are strong, you have done an internship, you have done projects, right? And what the BBA degree also does is it gives you a lot of hand holding. So we handhold a lot of our BBA students. When I say handhold, does not mean spoon feeding. There is a lot of more emphasis on mentorship. Are you learning really what should be learned? Can you apply what you are learning? Are you developing the right kind of employability skills? Because knowledge होने से क्या होता है? अगर आप उसको demonstrate नहीं कर पाओगे, so you should be able to write reports, you should be able to do effective presentations, you should be able to analyze large amounts of qualitative and quantitative data. You should be able to present your thought with clarity, with confidence, and you should be able to work seamlessly as a part of a team. Because after a BBA, you start at an entry level job, right? So you will start at an executive level or an AM level, and that's where you're expected to be a part of a team. So you have to be very, very good at proving yourself to be a collaborative person, a team player, and that is what will then help you understand the nuances of how actually the organizations work. Then what the MBA does is that now, okay, either you have got some work experience and you've come, या तो आप बिना एक्सपीरियंस के आए, फिर भी आप अगर बीबीए करके आए हो, तो एज अ प्रोफेसर इन योर एमबीए क्लास, आई एम एटलीस्ट दैट मच कंफर्टेबल दैट योर फंडामेंटल्स आर इंटैक्ट. So then I build onto it. Now I say, okay, you are expected to be a part of a team. Now your role shifts. Now you have to lead a team. Now somebody will give you a problem statement. आपको उसको execute करके दिखाना है. There will be no one holding your hand. So you have to develop your ability to think on your feet. You have to self-motivate. You have to take initiative, and you have to be better than the others around you.
Okay, the first thing that comes out is that BBA is a very fundamental program where you learn fundamentals of business. You can say bachelor's in foundation of management. And second thing that we probably got it clear is that it enhances employability skills also. So unlike abroad, we have a structure where we are jumping into MBA immediately after our graduation, which is not true outside India. So if we consider that environment, then a BBA guy can work. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
So what are the opportunities he can actually get in India without entering into an MBA school just by his BBA?
See, I have seen that the current stage at which BBA programs are run in India, they are very, very good, right? And I speak for players beyond IILM, right? So, for example, what is it? But I can tell you what is it that we do. See, from second year onwards, you have internship every year. Now, that really exposes you to the realities of work. So we do several things. One is internship, but internship is pretty standard. Can you go into my incubator and work with my startups? Okay, now these are student startups. We have some external startups. Can you go and actually take their problems and solve them? You have the opportunity to do that. Then third is, can you do live projects with the industry? So for example, our professors of practice work with the students. Can we go and engage with the SMEs? Now SMEs usually don't go to consultants. So what we do is we go and tell them that you tell me what is it that you need. You need market research, you need feasibility analysis, you need somebody to look at your website, branding, whatever it is. Can our students help you do it? So then the professor mentors the students and delivers the project for a organization. Now this is the exposure that we give you. Now why this exposure is important is because we want our BBA graduates to be employable. Because the caveat is not that you do an MBA after a BBA. आप BBA करके success कर सकते हो. And a lot of our graduates who are now placed from the third year are placed at very good salaries. They are placed at around 4 lakh, 5 lakh package. Now, which is something that a lot of these other MBA colleges offer, but I think compared to that, the fees that we charge, that's a great ROI. So now BBA is actually about preparing you for the world. With the fact that MBA in the future might become a 1 year program, MBA in the future might become something that is aimed at least people having 2 years of work experience. So the BBA, the way you deliver it is very important.
If your BBA candidate, your BBA student, if he adds an MBA, so how his trajectory in his career would be different?
See, because we are very careful when we select people for our MBA. If you're a fresher, that never works against you. Okay, so never think that you are going to be looked at differently just because you do not have work experience. What we look for is, what have you done in your undergraduate degree? In your undergraduate degree, have you just gone and sat in the class, answered exams, come home and बहुत chill life जी है आपने, या आपने initiatives लिए हैं? Were you participating in clubs? क्या आपने कोई कमिटी चलाई जिसमें मतलब आपने कुछ अच्छा करके दिखाया? Have you participated in national level business school case competitions या corporate competitions? Not even winning, I'm saying, have you participated? Have you used your undergraduate degree to engage with the industry? क्या आप खुद जाके projects ले आए? Internship के बाहर आपने क्या किया? Right? And then what have you done in terms of extracurriculars? Right? How have you built your personality? Have you worked on your reading skills? Have you worked on your articulation skills? Have you worked on how you can demonstrate it, you can collaborate with a team and make something impactful, creates a new artifact? क्या किया आपने? So if I see that in you, then what it tells me is that you have the personality to actually excel in an MBA program. That means those 2 years, I can add value to you and I can train you in tools and techniques which you then can use to get a job which will pay you twice to thrice as much as what a BBA job will pay. Because see, why does an MBA program pay more than BBA? It's not just because of the terminology of UG and PG. कि आपने undergraduate किया या postgraduate. I know a lot of undergraduates who are much better than postgraduates, right? So the idea that the industry pays you more is because of what value you can bring to them. And today it's not just about कि आप आओ और मैंने आपको ये काम दे दिया, आप ये करो. Companies don't want that. Come on, we are a growing economy. We have a vision to become a Viksit Bharat by 2047. For that, we have to grow at 10% a year. So आप 10% पे कैसे grow करोगे? आप एक normal thinking individual के हिसाब से नहीं grow कर सकते. You need a bunch of people who think outside the box, who are crazy enough to trust their ideas, back themselves to do it, and who have that fire in the belly. So industry pays for that. Can you come and think entrepreneurially? Shake things up. I don't want you to come and follow my process. Look at improving it. Right? Secondly, today organizations are becoming more and more lean, agile. What does that mean? आपको bureaucracy और red tape पे फंसना नहीं है. Can you create the next big product for that company? Can you deliver the next big, unique service for that company? Right? And can you tap international markets? आपका global exposure कितना है? आपका global mindset कितना है? So these things then, give you that jump, right? So MBA, I always say, BBA is great for getting your fundamentals right. MBA is then about getting yourself right. MBA is much more about the person rather than the knowledge.
To summarize, BBA with lot of work done during those 3 years and 4 years. It's not just coming and sitting in a class and going back like a normal graduate degree. It's a professional program. Sir, so let's say a science guy can also do BBA, a commerce guy can also do BBA, humanities guy can also do BBA. What are the factors that a student should keep in mind to decide that, okay, now I should go for a BBA program?
See, undergraduate education is becoming very multidisciplinary, right? And NEP has only enabled it. Now, what does that mean? Is that, see, when we talk about critical thinking, what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is about how is it, can you view a problem differently, right? So you आपने डेड पोएट सोसाइटी देखा होगा तो पता नहीं तो वो that professor tells his students stand on the table and look at the same class that you sit in every day. Why? Because that will change your perspective. So it is about changing perspective. So multidisciplinary education, to answer your question, whether you have done a science degree, arts degree, you've done a psychology degree, or whether you've done a mathematics degree or a commerce degree, everything helps in business. Why? A science background person can think analytically, okay? Because he's trained to think analytically. Person coming from a psychology background or a sociology background understands human dynamics, people's behavior, organizational context much better, right? Person coming from, let's say, a liberal background knows history, knows linguistics, has studied language, has studied probably a little bit of communication. They come at the same business problem in a completely different way. If you're a person coming from engineering background, आपका problem solving technique 4 साल तक एकदम पक्का हो गया है. Your 4 years you've done nothing but solve problem. So it all helps because see, a business is a multifaceted thing. It's not just one function. It needs people who can think from a different direction. So for example, in our class, in undergraduate program, we have removed the boundaries between the BBA program, the liberal arts program, and the psychology program. Now, what does that do? In my advertising class, there is a marketing angle to it, there is a psychology angle to it, and sociology angle to it. Because what is marketing? Antecedents of marketing are psychology and sociology and anthropology. You need to know how the individual thinks, you need to know how a group of people think. So now you imagine sitting in a classroom wherein you have people from these different backgrounds coming and explaining their thought process. आपका learning कितना हो गया? Because हम लोग सीखते हैं in a way through peer learning as well. And we reflect on what our peers say, and that's how the learning is enhanced. So a person coming from a science background looks at that same problem in a different way. He will say कि ठीक है आप लोग creatively इसको देखो, but I am interested in metrics. कि कितना penetration होगा, कौन से एज ग्रुप देखेगा. सो नाउ इफ यू पुट दिस गाइज इन अ टीम, यू हैव 1 + 1 = 11 सिनर्जिस्टिक इफेक्ट. क्योंकि एक ही प्रॉब्लम को 4 लोगों ने अलग बैकग्राउंड के लोग हैं उसको 4 तरीके से देखा है.
So we can summarize that a student who is good in his analytical skills or his problem solving ability, and he thinks that he could be a best fitment to a business education or a, let's say, business world tomorrow. Let's say when he is entering into the business world, he should go for a BBA program. That makes good sense for him.
Absolutely. See, a BBA program is a great leveler if you know that it is the world of business that excites you. BCom is quite compartmentalized. BCom does not prepare you for a business education, right? So BBA, what it does is, as I said, it gives you a 360-degree perspective of business. आप business सीखो, फिर उसको manage करना सीखो. That's the idea. So without understanding how the business operates and the dynamics of how the different functional areas of business interrelate with each other, finance has to support marketing, marketing has to be supported by operations, right? So these relationships you need to start working. फिर आप जब MBA level पे जाते हो, you have understood the dynamics, you have understood the relationship, the complexities you have understood. So now it's about, can you add value to it? Because see, what is the difference between UG, PG and a PhD? In UG, we gain knowledge and understanding, right? In PG, we are more focusing on analysis and evaluation. In PhD, we focus on creation, right? So before you go to evaluate and analyze at an MBA level, if your base is very clear, in business, it helps you. So the BBA degree is one of the best degrees to prepare you for an MBA.
With the new specializations coming in, new age specialization, which I call a specialization in e-commerce, a specialization in artificial intelligence, data science, with these new specializations coming in, how business education will evolve in next 5 years? Because that's very important for them to know. Those who are in 12th at least, will get in next 5 years unless they complete their education.
I think business education is going to be an amalgamation of liberal education, technology education, and management education. Right? These three things are going to be constant. So, how is that going to change? Is that a person who studies business will need to be comfortable with technology. You cannot say that I have no technology background. And see, the technology is taking care of itself in a way. Dr. Akhil must have talked about AI. And AI, what it does for you is it takes care of the coding part for you, right? But at the same time, if you don't know what to ask it, अगर आपका the problem has to be thought by you, आप क्या पूछोगे नहीं तो AI को, right? So technology is becoming such that it is becoming more and more easy for you to use, particularly with AI, because it does a lot of thinking for you, right? So you don't need to have a technology background if you want to get into technology that exists today. Now what it does is, management education is then about how does this technology help me enhance the way I manage my people, my product, or my service. So for example, can AI help me train my sales team better? Right? I don't need to give it a pitch anymore. I can get a GPT trained which trains my sales workforce, right? And they can have a interaction with the GPT and train themselves, right? So now that sales function is enhanced because a human is working with AI. Nobody is replacing anyone. Human is working with AI. Now, where does the liberal education part come in? See, liberal education, what it does to you is expands your mindset. It expands your thought process. Like for example, we talk today about sustainability in business. We talk about ethics. ये सब कहाँ से आया? ये सब liberal education का ही मतलब in a way. When we look at great thinkers, हम लोगों ने philosophy पढ़ा है. We must have learned about Marcus Aurelius. We have talked about and read about Ralph Waldo Emerson. Now, why is it that these people, why is it that we need to read these people? You go and read any sales manual in the world. You tell me if they don't have a quote from philosophy, I'll give up. Philosophy से ही ये आता है क्योंकि philosophy talks about how the realm of the world exists. What is the world and what is my place and position in it? The same context now you shift. What is the organization? What is the outside market? The market outside it, and where is my place in it? ये आपको broaden करता है आपका mindset. And when you broaden your mindset, your critical thinking ability enhances. And the third is management. So management, technology, and liberal education, the mix of it is going to be important. If you are then going to take a choice in terms of, okay, you are drawn more towards technology because you have a BTech background. There are specializations for you. There is an MBA we run in management technology, which has specialization in fintech, which has specialization in cybersecurity, Web 3.0, and AI. Now, this is a STEM MBA. This is particularly for people from science, technology, engineering, mathematics background. If you're coming from a liberal background, आपके लिए अलग MBAs हैं. You can get into advertising. You can get into marketing. You can get into the HR. You can get into the typical MBA sort of specialization. But one thing is another interesting thing that is coming is that MBAs are now also becoming industry specific. So you can now actually specialize within industries during your MBA. Like we keep 6 credits for industry specialization. What is that? कि 22 credits electives होता है. You study, majority of it is subject specialization, but 6 credits will be industry. जैसे कि आपने marketing major कर लिया, 6 credits you take specialization in FMCG. या आपने finance major ले लिया, now you take 6 credits specializing in BFSI. BFSI में कहाँ पे? Merchant banking, commercial banking, insurance, where? So now you have a chance that MBA in marketing किया है मैंने यही नहीं है. I have got expertise in FMCG. Or I've got expertise in the insurance industry. So MBAs are also getting industry specific. You will have MBAs in healthcare, pharmaceutical, you will have MBAs in hospitality, you will have MBAs in tourism. That's the way things are going to go.
So sir, those kids who are passing out of their 12th, this year. They'll be entering management course or any other course. So from you, I need a final advice for students who are typically BBA aspirants. I call them management aspirants after school. Yes.
See, I would really tell you that, a lot of people do one mistake. They spend too much time thinking about the job. They spend too much time thinking about how much money am I going to earn, which company I'm going to work. See, it's great to have that target. But I'll tell you something. First and foremost, think about what are you going to take out of that BBA program. How much are you going to bring? See, any university offers you a tool. It offers you the tools. The effectiveness of the tool depends on the person using it. What does that mean? Ki you come in with the program with the right attitude. You come in with an open mindset कि I am not going to be worried about कि मेरे को कहाँ job मिलने वाला है, क्या job मिलने वाला है और कितना payment. I am going to enhance myself to such a level that company को मेरे को पैसा देना ही देना है. See, India is a huge market, okay, and this entire conversation that people have about कि jobs नहीं है. There are jobs. Are you the right person? That's all. That's all. So you choose a BBA program which offers you the exposure, which offers you opportunity, which offers you learning practically as well as theoretically, and just immerse yourself in it. Work on your knowledge base as much as you would like to work on yourself as well. And just, in a way I always say enjoy life as well. क्योंकि आपको finally अपनी life के लिए आप लोग जो करते हो वो करते हो. If you become a great person within, the work that you do will be marvelous, and the person who comes to select you will have to select you. So I think the attitude matters and the approach matters.
It was fabulous, guys. I believe we have done some justice in this last 15-20 minutes interaction, and you would gain something. I'm sure one question that what exactly BBA is, how this program will take you ahead in the business world, and what exactly you need to develop in terms of your skill set to excel in the industry or in the business world. These questions you would have received a decent answer from Dr. Nihar, and I'm thankful to you, sir, that
Thank you.
took out some time from a busy schedule.
Pleasure.
And we had this interaction so that these kids can get some answers, some queries because they are tech savvy.
Thrilled to be here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.